Hello, Chief Devaney here. We're going to run through a quick tutorial on entering incident reports into FDM, Department Management Software. We've got several cheat sheets or shortcut laminated documents in the radio room that'll help you kind of get an idea of what you need to do without this video. But should you need to refer to this as a refresher, it's around to do that. Clicking on incidents from that home page is going to bring me to my incident kiosk over here, and inside this one kiosk I'm going to find unlocked incidents, monthly incidents for the past 30 days, and if you've got to go back to this year's, you're probably in more trouble than this video can get you out of for that report. There's also today's incidents, and that just pares them down to a smaller and smaller list depending on when the incident happened. So if I just click into monthly incidents, because it's there's no incidents in the kiosk today, we're going to initially find a list right here. So this is going to go back for the month. Should you need to go back further than that, hit the year. It's going to be in date order, number order. You're going to be able to find it rather quickly. So if we just pick on a list on a incident here, if we were to come back from a call, we'd like to have these done immediately so that we're not losing any of the information that we might have received on scene. We're just going to double check that our street address and everything is correct. Sometimes when a caller calls in from a different address, we may need to change that or update it. Inside here we see right away the incident type. There's a red laminated folder or file page in your radio room that has incident report, the frequently used codes. So choose those codes to the best of your ability. For instance, 321 is going to be anytime we issue any kind of, or we provide any type of patient care. Other ones are, let's see. One I want to bring up is a malicious or a false alarm for fire alarms. Okay, so that would be a malicious pull, or someone tripping it on purpose would be a false alarm. Any other alarm would be a inadvertent trip of the system, or an accidental pull, but those are not false alarms. Those are, the alarm did exactly what it was intended to do. So when we look at these incident types, we can really kind of try to think that way and identify what it is that we should be putting in there. The incident sum type is, we look at this one, it's 321, the EMS call. And they did a good job, whoever completed this. They did a good job to complete this because it was an unconscious and down person. Outside of that, we want to make sure that this type of alarm is completed for reporting purposes. And now we've got station 1, 2, 3, or duty officer, and this was a station 1 call. So we're going to select station 1. When we go into related data, it's going to bring us into the NFIRS, or another portion of the kiosk. So we've got our apparatus responding, our attendees. There were 10 people, 0 invalid items, which is great. And NFIRS right here. So if we go into NFIRS, this is where our reporting, all of our reporting information is going to come from. What's important to know in here right away is that this page, these items down here, the incident type, and has to match that first page. So if they're different, you're going to wind up with an error. Here's where we would identify whether or not we have mutual aid received or given, and then that would be, in here would be the last 4 digits of their incident number. Okay, we're just going to continue to click next. Here's some more detail on what happened at the scene. So we had 31, we provided first aid and check for injuries. And if we had anything additional to that, we could find, control traffic, or provide manpower, or something specific to that scene that you'd like to be covered. I'm going to continue on. Try to keep this quick. Persons involved. if we have an opportunity to get the person's information, this is where we're going to add that person in. And we're going to go into fire service casualty. We had none. The remarks. This is pretty critical. So if you're filling out this report, you want to know exactly what you have when you're going to look back, say 5 years from now, and possibly wind up in a situation where they want to know exactly what happened to this person. Dispatched the victim unconscious, arrived with patient laying on the ground, awake and alert. We took vitals. And then what? We were cleared by Alina. Alina assumed patient care before clearing. We were any number of different things. We got back to the station. We spent an additional hour at the station cleaning up because it was, there was some hazardous materials on scene or whatever it might be. You want to be as clear as possible when you're filling this out so that it can bring you right back to that specific call, and you feel comfortable at going, oh yeah, okay, I know exactly what happened here. The authorization is going to be who's completing the report, the officer in charge, and you can see Captain McNallen put his name in here because he's completing the report as well. So reporting officer is the same as in charge. Okay, we're going to return back to the related data now. We've completed the NFIRS, and I'm going to jump into apparatus responding. So this is something, so we can see Rescue 11 responded. Okay, all the times are in here. If you put 611 in your incident type, you will come in here and click canceled en route. If 611, which is canceled en route calls on that main page, the first 2 pages, you will have a conflict if you click canceled en route to remedy the times. So we can get out of here. We could add an apparatus in there if need be. We're going to go back to the related data and attendees. We're going to see inside of here we've got Rescue 11 with 3 and then a bunch of standby folks on here. If you're going to say add multiple to add these people in, I would suggest using the most people were in standby. You can click several people at a time here. And when you go in and say next, whoever was, if there's 10 people in standby, you'll either have to change every one of the standbys or you'll have to change all of the Rescue 11s. In here you can put your 1, tab over to your 1. The pay code is important, so we're going to use one of several pay codes. It's either going to be 1102 fire call, 1103 EMS call, DC for duty crew, auto aid, or a mutual aid. So when you draw these down, those are the only calls you're going to be using, and they're on those cheat sheets. So use them. In here, these are time specific comments. So if I'm going to say that on this call we were 1103, excuse me, for the EMS call for these people, and I'm going to go in here and there's an inordinate amount of time, like I said, for that cleanup, then we put 2 hours and 2 hours, and the call was not 2 hours. This is a great place to say, hey, we had a lot of cleanup to do. We had a lot of cleanup to do when we got to the station. And didn't clear until such and such a time. Or we debriefed for a half hour, so our exit time was actually this. This explains to finance, to our reporting people that why there's extra time in there over the time that's on the incident report. So just keep that in mind, put it in here. I oftentimes put comments in here that we had to stop and fuel, or we washed the truck when we got back, or whatever. Once you do that, you're going to go finish. I'm going to exit out of there. I don't want to add those people. You're going to go finish, and then these people are all going to pop up in here. Lindorf, you're going to pick, if you want to put Bauman on that truck, you're going to go over here and just click on Rescue 11. And make sure that he's on there. You're going to change those individually. So as I mentioned, you're going to change these 3 instead of changing all of these. Otherwise, you can pick those 3, add them to Rescue 11. Pick those 6, add them to Standby. Whatever it is that you need to do, and then just adjust it over here to identify what those pay rates and everything are. Other than that, that's pretty much it. And that's a simple call. We're at about 11 minutes. I want to wrap this up. If you've got questions, email Robbie or Pat or Chief Strike or someone at your station officer that understands the reporting system. But it's pretty crucial that we get these done right away and get them locked out. I'm going to lock this one now. And once we do, you're going to need to call to get it unlocked if necessary. So if you got questions, just reach out, but we got to make sure we're getting these done. We'll start kicking them back to try to get you to wrap them up for us if we see them remaining open